If you struggle with shyness or social anxiety, check out our free No BS training course with actual useful advice you can do from home. None of that just get out there nonsense. The link is in the description below. For now, let's get to today's question.
I'm a shy introvert. Usually I get attached to an extroverted social butterfly and he or she introduces me to everyone. One time I attended an out-of-state work conference by myself. I didn't know anyone and actually got an award for the person who traveled the farthest. After the conference there was a reception, so I walked in like an awkward penguin. Then I recall the advice about approaching the lone person in the corner and starting a conversation. I noticed this older gentleman sipping wine in the corner by himself. So I came over and started chatting with him. It's finally time to sit down and he invites me to sit at his table, up front. That's how I found myself sitting between a senator and the mayor, and a few very fascinating and funny people. It turned out the guy I was talking to was an old-timer just waiting for his peeps to arrive. I'm a shy introvert. Usually I get attached to an extroverted social butterfly and he or she introduces me to everyone. One time I attended an out-of-state work conference by myself. I didn't know anyone and actually got an award for the person who traveled the farthest. After the conference there was a reception, so I walked in like an awkward penguin. Then I recall the advice about approaching the lone person in the corner and starting a conversation. I noticed this older gentleman sipping wine in the corner by himself. So I came over and started chatting with him. It's finally time to sit down and he invites me to sit at his table, up front. That's how I found myself sitting between a senator and the mayor, and a few very fascinating and funny people. It turned out the guy I was talking to was an old-timer just waiting for his peeps to arrive. You probably have to learn to become a good actor in order to overcome some of your introverted tendencies which have, presumably, been preventing you from socializing as much as you would like. That whole fake it till you make it phrase is apt here, because I feel it's what is necessary in order to adopt a new set of behavioral traits. You start by forcing yourself to do things that feel inauthentic or alien to you, and over time, with practice, they should start to feel more and more natural, to the point of them feeling almost a regular extension of your personality. For an introvert, you have to practice being more extroverted, at least in certain situations. You are not trying to overhaul or change your base personality, rather, you are simply trying to add new tricks or techniques to your social bag. Things which will help you to connect more easily with others. Doing this, of course, will feel phony and contrived, because it is for you, but that's okay. You are trying to better yourself and expand your social boundaries, so you have every right to wear whichever face will help you to accomplish that. And we are all phony and fake to some degree, both extroverts and introverts. All of us portray ourselves in inauthentic ways at times in order to survive or succeed socially. That's what humans do as highly social creatures. So, get used to feeling phony as you attempt to push against some of your more introverted tendencies. It's all basically an acting job, and that applies to much of what you see socially from people. But as an introvert you are keenly aware of how artificial and phony being forcefully extroverted feels, but that's the price you have to pay for trying to override some of your introverted tendencies. Just go out and force it, put on an acting job. Be phony as hell if you have to be. You are not hurting anyone. You are simply trying to improve in some social area. First, figure out why as an introvert you wish to become more social. Make sure it is what you really want. Don't try to change just because other people are pushing you toward a more social lifestyle. If you are afraid of looking like the lone weirdo in the corner every time you go out, maybe what you really need is to become more comfortable being alone in a crowd. Most people are so focused on themselves they don't even see you, so you don't need to worry about what other people think. If you are really interested in the social scene, sports is a good arena in which to expand your social abilities. As a player you'll have activity to focus on and an automatic conversation topic, so you won't have to struggle to come up with something to talk about. Choose a sport where you can participate in a group as well as be able to work out alone. Running is a good choice. Most cities have runners clubs whose members are all ages, sizes and abilities. They sponsor road races where you can be as sociable as you like while doing something to improve yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially. I know how to get rid of the shy part. The introvert part is permanent, which makes it awesome. Do you know where shyness comes from? It's unfamiliarity. In case you don't know, to get rid of it, you have to be as familiar as possible with a lot of different situations. That's right, it requires you to be brave. Who's the person closest to you now? I don't mean best buddies here, in case you don't have one. I didn't have one until high school. Just the person who you can approach to without feeling intimidated. Have you identified them? Good. Now go talk to them. Don't ask intrusive questions. Ask what their favorite music is, food, movies, whatever. Keep it light. This will help you be familiar with conversing. Don't know what to do at parties? Me too. I usually make myself a plate and eat quietly whilst watching other people. When someone notices me, I smile and raise my plate. This is great. They'll probably say yes or no or whatever, but that's it. In the event that someone approaches you to talk, treat them like you treated your closest friend. Don't worry, you're familiar with conversations. It's just back and forth, right? They ask, you answer. You ask, they answer. Simple. I could go on, but that could fill a whole book. TL, Doctor, my social advice is familiarize yourself. An introvert loses energy being around people and gains energy being alone. But it is possible even for an introvert to learn to reduce the loss of energy in social situations or even get it to a net positive. Part of that is about using the moments of silence in dialogue, in moments of being alone even in the midst of a crowd. Don't listen to all the people trying to divide the world into introvert and extrovert. You are not in some team. You are you. Unique. Do you want to be social? So go engage. Start by paying attention to your inner self as you speak with people. How is your energy level? How is your comfort level? What topics can you deal with? What topics make you feel anxious or uncomfortable? How long can you hold a conversation before you start feeling uneasy? How many people can be in a group before you feel uneasy? Really understand yourself around people. Then, try experimenting. If you can last only 15 minutes before you are exhausted, try to last 16 minutes. 17 minutes. Try breathing techniques. Try using the lulls in the conversation to re-energize yourself. Hey, first of all these articles on introverts start with a research saying they are the most intelligent being on the planet. Okay. Fair enough. Does that answer your question or it just gives you pleasure for that brief moment? Now, for that matter, let me ask you. Partying, meeting people, or for that matter long list of friends, does that what you truly striving for? If yes, then what is that stopping you? To start with, meet real humans and not just social media zombies. Join a club, or a course of your choice, again not over the internet but like going to the street or any institute. If you can expose yourself to human interaction almost always, see to gain results you might have to do all that you have avoided throughout your life. It may not bring the results straight away, however. Sticking to it will bring some insight. A simple solution to find yourself: meditation and yoga. None of the above required.